Let's start again. These various inflammatory conditions in and around the breast. That are these conditions in which few are specific and few are non-specific. Specific mean when you know the pathogens from the initial of the disease, and particular pathogen has some specific features, then we call it specific. Otherwise, if the pathogen is not identified in from the starting, then it is called non-specific. Means you have to go general treatment and then you can identify the pathogens. So when a person has a tubercular abscess, then from the starting it has the feature that it should be not very painful. The patient has some other generalized feature of that tuberculosis also. And syphilis, the same thing, actinomycosis. So here we talk about that inflammatory conditions in and around the breast. So this acute abscess is called acute intramammary mastitis. The breast abscess, what we discussed, that is the acute intramammary mastitis. Here the term is clear. Intramammary mastitis means the inflammation of the breast tissue. Intramammary means that complete the breast tissue is inside the breast that is involved. That condition may be acute and that condition may be the chronic. The subareolar mastitis means that the tissue involved just below the areola. This around the nipple there is some blackish area, black discoloration, that is called areola. So when the subareolar, the tissue below the areola is only involved, then it is called subareolar. That may be the chronic and acute. And then retromammary abscess. Retromammary abscess is the abscess which is lying just below the mammary tissue, the tissue of breast. Understand means there is the skin, then breast tissue, then there is then the deep fascia, then there is the pectoral fascia. The breast lies on the pectoral muscles, na? So the abscess lying in between the pectoral deep fascia, pectoral muscles, and the breast tissue, it is called retromammary abscess. It is very difficult to identify that abscess because the features are not present outside the breast very peculiarly, but there is a pain is there. The lump is not very much palpable. The pain is there and it can burst inside the burst means that the pus collected can go inside and the infection may travel to the lungs also. So that is the retromammary abscess is very difficult to treat and very difficult to identify also. Then some peculiar, there is specific infective conditions, that tuberculosis, syphilis, and the actinomycosis. So here we discuss the first that acute intramammary mastitis, that is called as the breast abscess. So you know the commonly involved the persons who get affected, the women who get affected, or the who are the lactating, especially the first time lactating and in the first month of the lactation. So that is the peculiar means most of the childbearing, the nursing mothers are all involved, are mostly involved in the breast abscess. Other women also can get involved, but the commonly involved are the nursing women or the women who are have a feeding child. The most commonly involved organism is the staphylococcus. So that may travel to that crust or that through the nipple, the cracked nipple, especially in the 6th month of that. Some women get breast abscess at the 6th month of that of the child after the parturition, because when the child started having the tooth, so due to the irritation of that originating tooth, the child get irritation, so that it bites on the nipple of the mother, so that causes that injury to the nipple, and that that cracked area is the source of that traveling of the infection that travel from outside towards the through the these lacriferous ducts, and they develop the breast abscess. And one more thing that staphylococcus is usually get colonized in the nasal area of the students, in the nasal area of the student. So sorry, nasal area of that child. So when the child is feeding to mother, so that 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 organism is very much near to that breast. So that's from where and some other conditions that's like the poor hygienes, and that the poor immunity system of the mother, and some other underlying condition also may be there. So that may also the supporting factor of developing the breast abscess. So that may be the specific or non-specific. The features involved there is two stages in the development of the breast abscess. The first stage is the stage of cellulitis, and the second is stage of the abscess. So the stage of the cellulitis, there is a pain, the around complete breast. There's a redness. Complete all the feature of the cellulitis means the features of the inflammation: pain, tenderness, swelling, and redness, and hotness. So these all features are present initially up to 48 to 36 hours, 24 to 48 hours. So in that conditions, initially the patient complain there is the pain, redness, tenderness, swelling, and erythema, the warmness around the abscess, around the breast, complete breast tissue. And along with these local features, patient may have some generalized features of the inflammation, just like the fever, malaise, anorexia. So these are maybe the clinical features of that breast abscess. So next, diagnosis. How you diagnose? And that careful history taking is very important. That patient most of the patient give the history of that feeding of the child, and the lactations, and if there is an underlying condition, if you're suspecting specific, then the patient must have some history of that tuberculosis, or some history of anorexia, weight loss, evening rise temperatures. So these the generalized symptoms of tuberculosis. The patient may have the history of all these things. After the history taking, careful examination is very much required for that diagnosis of the breast abscess. Most of the case can be easily diagnosed by the inspection and the history taking only. Really, the palpation may give you the exact site of the abscess, and the palpation may give you that the condition of the abscess, means that it is in the cellulitis stage, or the abscess is already formed, the pus is there. So the importance of the palpations is not in the making the diagnosis. The importance of the palpation is that managing is to you planning your the treatment, planning the how you're going to plan the surgical incision on these particular conditions. So in that point of view, that the palpation is very much important. That abscess is where the abscess is, that it is subareolar, or that submammary, okay, or that which quadrant is involved, where you get where you have to do the incision. So from that a surgical point of view, the palpation is very much important, which is the most prominent part, and which is the dependent part, or which should be the dependent part of that abscess. So that things is very important, and that's why palpation is very important in the case of this breast abscess from the surgical point of view. Next, come to the investigations. So usually that for the making diagnosis, in no investigation is required for the making of the diagnosis, but for the to rule out any specific conditions and to get the fitness of that patient, the patient is fit for the surgery, and to take any extra care, you have to do that just a routine blood investigations, including that CBC, ESR, BTC, THBC, GHIV, and random blood sugars, so that you have any idea if the patient is suppose if patient is diabetic, then you have to, along with surgery, you have to give some medical treatment also, so that get that blood sugar under control, so that the wound will be healed. So that's why these investigations are routine investigations and not required for the diagnosis, but for that from the treatment purpose. So the management of this condition, if the patients come to the initial within 48 hours or 24 or 48 hours, and you after the examination, you have seen that patient have only cellulitis, and till that time the abscess is not formed, that suppuration is not happening. In that conditions, the medical treatment may be helpful, and you might save the patient from the undergoing surgery. So in that condition, the broad spectrum antibiotics and that anti-inflammatory medicines can help and can reduce the and reduce and subside the inflammations, and you save the patient with that going to suppurations. But if the patient comes to you when the already suppuration is happening, all that patient come to after 2 to 3 days, then suppuration is there, the pus formation is there, then the medical treatment will not help to treat that condition. In that condition, the surgical management is the only way of the management. So in that condition, IND should be done, because we know the principle, wherever the pus, it must be let out. So this is the principle is applicable everywhere. So now, if you found that patient has that suppression is happening, patient has the collections. So one important thing is there, wherever in the body there is abscess, then what is the important thing to diagnose the abscess? That there is the fluctuation test. That is very important to diagnose the abscess. There must be fluctuation test should be there, because there is a collection of pus inside, so there is a cystic swelling having the other feature of the abscess along with the fluctuations. But there are few sites in our body where we should not wait for the fluctuation test. So in that size and that sites, one is the breast, second one is the pulp of the finger, this pulp of the finger, and third is the anorectal area, because these three areas are where if you wait for the fluctuation, then you in the way of the saving the things, you damage the more things, you damage the more tissue. You know what I mean? If you see, if you wait for that that if when the fluctuation will be there, then you drain the abscess. In the process of the waiting, that abscess, in growing abscess, will damage more tissue. In the pulp of finger, it may erode that distal phalanx, the bone also, and this is very painful at conditions also. In the same, in the anorectal area, there is a large area having large fat, so many space are there. In the same, in the breast, there is so many fat tissues there. So if you wait for the fluctuation, so it the breast, the infection will damage more and more tissue. So if you get the patient after the 2 days of that, having the, if the patient comes to you and having the history of the same painful pain, induration, edema, brownie induration, and all these feature of the abscess more than 2 or 3 days, then you just directly go for that incision and drainage procedures. So what about the anesthesia? Anesthesia, it is maybe the choice of the your. It was a choice as per the availability, which anesthesia is available in your nearby or in your hospital setup, and which is suitable for the patients. You may choose whatever kind of the anesthesia. This is the important thing, that where you have to give the that incision in the app. So there are three type of incisions are advised in the condition of the breast abscess. First, the radial incision. Second, the peri-areolar. Third, submammary. Every incision has its own importance. First, the radial incision. Which incision? You can see that the incision from that nipples towards the radially towards the axilla. So this is called the radial incision. When that is the incision directly from that nipples toward the outside, toward the periphery of the breast, straight incision. This is called a radial incision. It is required when the abscess is in the same site, and you want to save more and more the breast tissue, because when you give the incision in that area, then no or the minimal damage of this lactiferous tissue and the lactiferous ducts, rather than if you giving this circumferential incision just like that. If you give incision like that, then you damage more and more lactiferous ducts. That's why the radial incision is very important. If you are able to drain your abscess with this incision, this is the most favorable incision. Second, the peri-areolar, means this is the areolar area, this is the areolar area, and the incision just below the area. It is advisable when the abscess is peri-areolar or subareolar. In that condition, you can just drain here, just give the incision here and open the cavity and the drain, then leave it. So the important of this is that you are not damaging the areolar, and you are not damaging ducts, and the scar will be very minimal and just near the areola, so it is less identified. And third is the submammary, just means that inferior border of the breast. Inferior border of the breast, this is the submammary, just means that's the below the mammary. So important of this abscess is it has the it is the most dependable part of the breast. So if you are able to drain your abscess with this incision, then you just go for this incision. And the important thing is that it has very much cosmetic property, means that it is rarely identified. And so the thing is that with the planning of the incision, you must plan the incision which is suitable for the treating these conditions, as well as the cosmetically good. Okay, so you choose the incision along with the according to the site of the abscess, which quadrant is involved, and which is the most important part. You know, the principle of the drainage we have already discussed. The incision should be as the most prominent part as well as most dependable part. But if the most prominent and most dependable part are two different points, then you have to give one counter incision at the dependable part and communicate with this prominent part. You understand? So next condition, the procedure involves first you have to take the patient in after doing all the pre-operative procedures, and you must take the patient in the proper comfortable positions. Uh, that supine position may be the maybe the preferable. Either you can take the patient in the lateral positions according to the that site of abscess and the choice of the surgeon. Then give the proper anesthesia, which whatever you have choose, clean and drape that area. Then radial incision should be preferred, we already had discussed, because it has the minimal damage of that lactating tissue. And then submammary incision is cosmetically good enough for that drain the cavity, and peri incision is good for the cavity involve the nipples. We already discussed these things. Then one important point which also we have already discussed, that we should not wait for the fluctuation test. And now the next important thing is the while doing the incision and drainage, the Hilton methods is should be employed. What is the Hilton's method? Whenever you have the abscess at the site where you have the some other vital organs which you don't want to damage that organ, then you should avoid using any sharp object inside the cavity. You should do that breaking of that loculi by the blunt object, either using that artery forceps or using your fingers. You just give the incision and drain the pus, then insert your finger or the artery forceps having some gauge piece at the end, just to break all the loculi, so that any focus should not be there inside the any pus pocket should be not inside the cavity. You make sure you break all that pockets, so that the pus is uh, come out from the space, and every space inside the in every pockets in that cavity is break out. Then you just wash the complete cavity with the antiseptic solution, or the just like that. And you should use the after that mechanical debridement, you can use some chemical debridement. You can give some hydrogen, pour some hydrogen peroxide, then you can wash the cavity with some betadine solutions, and after that you can pour some antibiotic solutions locally, like the gentamicin. Then you should pack the cavity complete. And the first day of the surgery, you just pack the cavity with the roller gauze little tight, means to avoid any kind of the hemorrhage, any kind of the bleeding, any kind of the hematoma formation. Because if you pack loosely the cavity, and if there is some bleeding or oozing inside the cavity and the hematoma will be formed, that will cause the recurrence of that abscess. So just pack the cavity, and then no need to close the wound. Here we seek the healing with a secondary intention, so we are not going to close the incisions, just let it open and place the drain. If the cavity is big, then you should place the corrugative drain in that cavity, means half part of drain inside the. If your incision is at dependent part, then you just in the cavity just put the some corrugated drain, half inside and 3/4 inside and 1/4 outside, or the half inside half outside, and then do the dressing. If your dependable part is different and prominent part is different, then you have to make a counter incision and place the drain in that counter incision, so that the remaining pus or inside the any collection, any serous secretions inside the cavity will not remain inside, and it will drain out. So put the drain if it is required, and then after this give the pressure bandage along with the breast support. Because if the breast is hanging, then it gets the engorgement of that collections, and it will be very uncomfortable for the patient. So you should advise to use the support of the breast. Then after that surgical, then some medical therapy must be continue along with this, some broad spectrum antibiotics, or if any specific organism you have identified, then you have to use the accordingly the specific antibiotics and anti-inflammatory and analgesic drugs. Then you should change the dressing after 48 hours and remove the drain after 40 hours, because whatever the collection in it should be drained into the 48 hours. Then you just if there is no soakage, no drainage, then you should remove that drain and heal the wound with secondary intention. So this is the complete procedures. Along with this, some post operative care which is very much essential in this particular case. Make sure you continue that medical therapy, that antibiotics and anti-inflammatory analgesic drugs, and cleaning and dressing daily or alternative days, depends on the conditions. If the dressing is getting wet and having uh, that pus inside the dressing, then you should change the daily, otherwise you can change the alternative day. And then one more important thing, that the patient usually asks that if that person, that female is uh, breastfeeding, means feeding her child, so she should ask, she always asks that she should continue that feeding, or she should stop. So no need to stop that feeding. The patient can continue the feeding with the opposite side of the breast. And if the same side, if there is a that suppose the mother is in the first 4 5 months of the lactation, so there is a collection of the milk inside the breast also, that affecting breast also. So better use the pump. There is a pump coming in the market, so you can the pumping of the milk from that affected side also, and then boil for the 5 minutes. Then you can advise that she can give to the her child. And in this from the other side, the simple feeding can be advisable. Stopping of the milk usually not required, but there are few condition when you has to stop that milking, means stop the lactation. So to stop the lactation, there is a one medicine, stilbestrol, 10 mg, 10 mg TDS is for the 3 to 5 days. It will it will dry up all the that secretions, so there will be no milk. So if it is only, but if you should advise still all only. There are only few conditions. One, number one, when the patient has so much pain that it is very difficult to pump out the blood from that affected side, then you can use these medicines. Second, if the abscess is not healing, then you should stop that dry up. And sometimes the patient can develop the fistula from the lactacy fistula, and the milk secretions come through the incision. Then you have to give the esteroid to stop that lactations. And or if that mother have the child who is a long time feeding of feeding, have the long time, means 1 year or one and a half year or 1 month. So in that condition, there is no use of that milk. Means child can take some feeding from outside, feeding some food materials. Then you can give this medicine to stop that lactation. So it will help the healing of uh, that abscess, that cavity. So this is the complete of that breast abscess. It is very important, especially the our female students. So now the topic ends today. This in the next topic we discuss some other things.